Helps if I turn the mic on, right? All right, this is a sound check. If you guys can hear me, put a little message down the chat box just to let me know that you can hear what I'm saying. You should see a chat widget in the upper left-hand corner of your window, which is like a little blue box, chat box. When you click that, it'll open up like a sidebar on your window that will allow you to chat with me. And I'm getting confirmation from the one and only Nicholas Ayers that my sound is coming through. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to give this a couple more minutes just to let people get on the webinar here. It looks like we have about 3 people on. So I'll give it a couple minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. Sorry about that. Lost you guys for a second. So I think we had, let me just check the numbers real quick. We had, I think, about 15 people that signed up, and it looks like we have 3 people on right now. So I'm gonna give it just a couple more minutes here to see if we can get some more people on. Then we'll go ahead and get started. If anybody has any specific questions, if you want to pop those in the chat box. The heck is this stuff? Okay. So I can like dress up as a dog and stuff while we're waiting here. It looks like we have 6 people. So I'm just going to mess around here for a second until we have a couple more people on the line. So it's 4:02 my time. I'll give it like 3 more minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so we're up to 8 people. And just another minute, we'll go ahead and get started here. And it looks like Denise Bravo is asking about the chat box. So Denise, yeah, you're commenting on the actual event page, but there should be a separate window. I think there's a separate window that pops up and you can click a box in the upper left-hand corner. But I think you can chat here anyway. So let me just so far I can clap and that's about it. All right. Chat box. All right, hold on for just 1 second, guys. Getting some inboxes here. I want to make sure that you guys can get on this here. It looks like chat might not be enabled, so hold on just 1 second. Which is weird. Let's do this real quick. Q&A. All right, so there's a Q&A, but I can use the Q&A. Okay, cool. All right, so Q&A should be there on the right-hand side of your window now. You can just use Q&A. I'll reply to that. All right, so we have 11 viewers now. Let me see. Chat, screen share, showcase, capture, cameraman. Okay. All right, so there should be a Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. I'm going to go ahead and get started. If for some reason you're not able to chat in this window or ask me a question, you could Facebook message me, and I'll do my best to reply that way. And worst case scenario, I'll just hang around, or you can get me via the Facebook page, and I can answer your questions that way. But for those that are on the call, you probably already are aware of this. This is the introduction to Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to go through some of my workflows and show you how you can use Adobe Illustrator in your agency. And it's one of my favorite tools. It's very robust, and it's very flexible. And there's a lot of things you can do with it. I mean, I pretty much use it on a daily basis. I use it for logos, flyer designs. I'd use it to lay out websites. I use it to lay out PDFs and print media. You can even use it to manipulate photos. There's kind of some workarounds there. But as you learned with Nicholas Ayer's webinar last week about Photoshop, obviously Photoshop is very much suited for editing photos. So if you're editing a JPEG or a PNG file, Illustrator is more for, I guess, graphic design and vector-based shapes and outlines. So as Nicholas mentioned, Photoshop is really made for bitmap type of photography. So it's not really a vector-based program, which means you can't necessarily scale objects, and that can present a problem if you're designing something for print or a website or a logo or what have you. So I like to use Illustrator to do a lot of different things. So without taking up too much more of your time, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and I'm going to go through some basic workflows, and we're also going to take a couple minutes, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can create your own flyer. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen in the IAOA Facebook page in the documents, I think it is. Actually, let me pull it up on my end. Documents, files, my bad. So in the files tab of the IAOA page on Facebook, you can find a bunch of different awesome flyers and other material on there. But in that files tab are some flyers that I created, and I've had a bunch of people kind of hit me up on inbox to help them with their flyers, and I made them in Adobe Illustrator in about 5 minutes. So it's actually a very very simple process, and I'll be able to show you that right now. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you real quick. Bear with me for just one moment. Okay, so you should be looking at my entire screen right now, and I'm going to go through sort of a couple different things. So let's actually first talk about how you can use Adobe Illustrator to um, let's see make a logo. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new file, and all you have to do is in the file menu click on new, or you can click on Command N, and you're going to set the dimensions of your workspace or your artboard right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this a name, IAOA sample logo, and we're going to make it 300 pixels wide by 100 pixels high. So this would be a logo that we probably use for a website or letterhead or something like that. So it's not very big, but I'll show you how we can scale this very easily in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and set the dimensions, make sure that my units are set to pixels, and click OK. So Illustrator is going to provide me with an artboard that I can use to create a logo or whatever else. So let's go ahead and get right into this. So over to the left, just like you've seen, if you were on the Illustrator, excuse me, the Photoshop webinar, you would have noticed this sort of control pane, if you will, which has all these different um, tools and stuff in here, many of which you probably will not actually use for the stuff that I'm showing you today. But we'll go ahead and I'll show you some neat tricks here. So I'm going to create a dummy logo for IAOA, and the one that they have right now is awesome, but this is just going to be a sort of a dummy logo. So I can click anywhere on here, and I'm just going to simply type IAOA. Actually, let me capitalize this real quick. IAOA. So I can just click and drag this onto my workspace. Now I can either increase this font size by coming up here and clicking on the font size tool, or I can just literally drag one of these points and hold in my shift key and just drag it to whatever I want to drag it to, so it fills up a bigger space. So there's a couple ways to scale text, and the first way is obviously with the font size, but I prefer honestly to just drag it, especially if I'm working within sort of like a tight space or whatever. So IAOA, let me go ahead and change the font. I like Proxima Nova. Go ahead and set that to semi bold, and I'm going to spread it out a little bit. So I'm going to come over here to this text pane right here where you can change different fonts. These are a bunch of fonts that are default in Adobe Illustrator. Now I have my Adobe Illustrator connected to my Typekit account. So if you ever want to look at some sort of custom fonts, you can go to typekit.com, and typekit.com actually syncs different fonts to my Illustrator, so I can use some pretty unique fonts. But for this particular example, we're going to use Proxima Nova. I'm going to set it at let's see, I'm going to spread it out just a little bit. So first I have to actually select it, come down here and spread it out a little bit. So then you can come up here, change the color. I'll change it to a cool looking blue. And actually, I'm going to make this just a little bit bolder. And let's say I wanted to add a like icon or something here in front of this. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can either create your own sort of graphic within Illustrator, or you can actually buy vector artwork, and you can download a lot of it for free. I usually buy mine just because it's usually higher quality, and it's also created in the most recent version of Illustrator. But there's a couple different ways you can do it. For this example, I'm just going to make one in Illustrator. So I'm going to hold down my shift key, select the square tool, and just create a box. And I'm now going to take this text, copy and paste it, which is just Command C, Command V. I know I'm going kind of quick here. And I'm going to scale this down, make it white over here in my color space, and bring this right in here, and maybe shrink it just a little bit and center it with my arrow tools on my keyboard. So now that I have this square, it's obviously a little bit big for this space. So I'm going to come in, select everything, shift and drag it. And what's cool about Illustrator, why this is a little bit easier to work with than say Photoshop for this type of task, is that it's vector based, meaning that you can just grab stuff and move it all around if you want to. You don't have to go into layers or, go out of your way to, I guess, scale an object. I know in Photoshop, you can sort of do the same thing. I think in Illustrator, it's just a little bit easier. At least it feels like it is for me. But you can just grab stuff, move it around. I'm going to move this text a little bit closer and maybe bring it in like this. Actually, I need to make this a little bit smaller. So I'm going to grab the whole thing, and I'm going to now line up IAOA with this box. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can either eye it up, zoom in, and eye it up, which is what I do a lot, because to the naked eye, you really can't see these small, I guess, differences or whatever. But I come in and eye it up. You can also grab both objects, and you can come up here to this alignment board right here, and I can align this stuff. So vertical align top. And actually, that's not the right one. Hold on for just 1 second. Vertical align center. One of these will auto align these two objects. I think I got it. Anyway, now that you have this logo here, I'm going to stretch this out so it spans the entire height of this box. And again, this is a quick and dirty example of how you can make a logo. Now that I have sort of the design that I want, I'm going to move it up into the upper left-hand corner of the box. Click on this artboard tool right here, which allows me to manipulate the size and shape of the actual artboard. So I can come in here and just drag this artboard so that it's real tight up against the text, so that I don't have any extra white space or dead space in the logo. So now what I can do is come up here and save this as a image. So this is the cool thing about Illustrator. Not only can you create vector images and work with vectors, but you can also export everything as a image file. So that might not be that big of a deal, but I just think it's cool that you can do that from within Illustrator, and you don't have to really hop back and forth from Illustrator to another photo app. So I'm going to come up here and save this graphic for the web. And I now have a couple options. I can either save it as a JPEG, save it as a GIF, or save it as a PNG file. In this case, I want the background of this image to be transparent. So I want to be able to place this logo over top of any any object or website without having a background behind this text. So in this case, all I'm going to do is select PNG 24, and it's automatically going to remove the background for me. So now that I've done that, I make sure that transparency is clicked in this upper right-hand corner. And I now have a pretty legit logo. I mean, it's pretty quick and dirty, but it's a usable logo that that you can use right away. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to my desktop. And sorry, this thing is blocking me here. Save this to my desktop, and now I have a legit logo that I made in about 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe not the best looking logo, but you can see how quick I did that and how you can just export it as an image within a matter of minutes. Now, let's say, for example, you want to take this logo and you need it to be a little bit bigger for a different document or letterhead or a poster or some kind of like, marketing collateral that you need to order. You can very easily do that. I'm going to zoom out real quick and select this entire logo. Now I'm going to stretch this thing to a pretty big space. So this is pretty big. You can probably use this for a number of different things. And what I usually tell people to do is create a logo that you would use for, letterhead or an envelope or a website, but then come back in and create a secondary logo, just basically something bigger that you can then use or send to, some kind of a company that would print up flyers for you or whatever. So what I'm going to do now, I just stretched out this logo. I'm going to come in and change the shape of the artboard real quick. Take the logo, move it back down into the corner, and I now have a logo that's bigger. So I can save this as an image. I can also save it as an Adobe Illustrator file, which is a .ai file, which is the vector file that most graphic artists are going to ask you for, or web designers are going to ask you for when they want to see your logo. They want the vector file for one simple reason, so that they can go in and manipulate the size of the logo without losing any quality on the logo. So, and that's one difference between working with a vector format as opposed to a bitmap object like a photograph, which doesn't really scale, I guess, properly. So so that's the logo. I'm now going to show you real quick. I know I'm going through this quickly. I want to try to get in as much as I can. I'm going to now show you how to create a quick flyer. And I know this is something that a lot of people have been interested in and have asked me for help with. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new file. So I'm going to click on Command New, come up here and click it from the menu. Now that I know that I'm going to make something for print, I'm going to come in here and select from the Profile tab. I'm going to select the Print tab. So I want to make sure that I have it on print and I have this on inches. So I now have a default 8.5 by 11 document, which is obviously just a standard size for any document. Going to click on OK, and it's going to now create my my artboard that's the exact size of a piece of paper, right? So now what I'm going to do is just kind of make some shapes here, come up here and give this object or give this document a header. And I want to make this blue. I'm going to now copy and paste this a little bit lower, make it a little bit, maybe a little bit thicker here. Let me just move this up here. What I'm now going to do is bring an image into this document real quick. I'm going to open up, I have a ton of demo images. So let me just grab something here. Let me use this one. So you just click open, Command O, or go into your menu and click open. And you can open up any kind of image or vector format. So I'm going to take this image, copy it, bring it over to this document, and then I'm going to line it up where I kind of want to have it in the document and resize it, which is just holding in the Shift key and resizing it. Okay, so now I want to put this image behind everything else on the page. So I'm simply going to click the image, come back up into Object, Arrange, and I'm going to send this object to the very back of the document. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can either come up into the object menu and click Arrange, Send it back, or you can also, let me undo that real quick. You can also click the object and hold in Command Shift and the left bracket key, and that will do the same exact thing. So let me actually take the border off of these blue objects real quick, these blue boxes. So I now have an image back in here. I can do a couple different things. Let me see if I can add some text here for you guys. Let's see. So that's Chester's Westchester's best insurance agent. Pull this in here. Again, I'm just going to grab one of these points, hold in Shift, and scale this text. Move it where I want it in the document. I'm going to make this bold, center it. And now I'm going to come down and let's say that we want to add like some content in the middle here. So I'm going to actually make this sort of a different color here. Let me make this tan. Wait, let me do this real quick. All right, so I now made this other block a different color, and now you can basically come in here and do whatever you want to do. So if you want to make some bullet points, You can come in here and say fast turnaround time on quotes. And just to save some time, I'm just going to kind of reuse this text here by just copying and pasting. And actually, let me show you how to do it the right way. You would just click on enter, enter, keep pasting it down. I'm going to spread this out just a little bit. So I'm going to come in and no, not that much. And mess around with this a little bit until you get the right spacing. So you can come in, bring your bullet points in. I'm going to bring in my headshot real quick. So let me go to my headshot, copy and paste this down here. So I want this to be in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm just going to resize it. And you just kind of work with it until you get the right content on here. But the great thing about this, the great thing about using Illustrator as opposed to creating a flyer in, Microsoft Word or Pages for Mac or any other kind of like text editor, is just the ability to be able to grab stuff with your pointer and move it literally wherever you want to move it to. In my opinion, that's sort of a game changer for me. That saves you a ton of time. If you've ever had to make something in Microsoft Office, or excuse me, Microsoft Word, you know that you have to sort of like tab and space and create text fields, and it's just sort of like hacky the way that you have to do it in Microsoft. So I really like doing it in Illustrator. And let me show you real quick. I'm just going to pull up a flyer that has already been made. So this is a PNC flyer that I use for a bunch of different stuff. And actually, for some reason, the font that I have on my home computer is not on this computer. But anyway, this is super sloppy looking because I've had to change this a number of times. People have been asking for help with this, but this is basically how I made this flyer. It's no different than how I was just showing you over here, where you just sort of create boxes and add text and stuff like that, and just play with it until you get the the end result that you want. I mean, it's really that simple. It's boxes, images, and text. And as long as you can make a box, change the color, and type out some text, you can make a flyer within a couple minutes in Adobe Illustrator. These little things right here are just like vector icons that I bought just because I was too lazy to actually make them on my own. If I had to make these, I could, but it's sometimes easier just to buy different vectors. And I'll show you real quick. There's a great website that you can use for this, which is called vectorstock.com. This is a website where you can pay, like I just load up my account with like $25, and you can buy vector images for like $1 a piece. So if I wanted to come in here and type in insurance, there's all kinds of stuff that you can use to like make a logo or make an icon or whatever. So if I wanted to grab this real quick, I could literally download this vector. It's only 1 credit, which is $1. Open it up in Adobe Illustrator, use this shield or use these people or use this color, whatever I want to do. I can use this entire thing, or I can take pieces from it and use this as a logo or use it for a flyer or whatever. So that's a quick and dirty way to create a logo or any other kind of flyer or graphic or whatever you want to create. Instead of paying a graphic designer, a couple $100 or whatever to create a logo, in most cases, they're going to do it in like a half an hour, 45 minutes. You could very easily, if you have Adobe Illustrator, you could very easily come in and actually create one on your own for a couple dollars if you know how to manipulate some of the tools in Illustrator. So it's very, very simple to do. I can show you real quick how you can make letterhead. Same exact thing. You're going to create a brand new document, and you're going to name it whatever you want to name it. Make sure that you're on print and that you have inches selected and that you have 8.5 by 11. Click OK. Now, because I already have this open, I'm just going to grab our logo real quick and copy it over here. So I'll show you real quick how to make letterhead. I'm going to bring this up and spread it out just a little bit. I know I'm going fast, guys, but I want to make sure I get enough stuff in here for you. Let me zoom in on this, and let me grab my line tool, and I'm just going to create a straight line that comes all the way over here. I'm going to come up and set the stroke to, let's see, 2 pixels. And I want to make sure that this stroke color is the same color as a color in the actual logo. So let me go ahead and select the line that I just made. I'm going to select my dropper tool, and I want to make this the same color as this blue right here. So actually, let me flip that. I just went ahead and made that the same color as this blue in my logo. So now I can go in here, type out my address, and move it right here. Maybe I want to put my email or something in here. And a phone number. You can see how quickly you can just kind of move stuff around the page, and within a couple of seconds you can make letterhead, a flyer. I'm going to actually change the font on here so it matches the font in our logo, which is Adobe Garmin Pro. I don't want italic though. Hold on a second. Adobe Garmin Pro bold. And I also want to make this the same color as this blue. So actually this one. So you can see, like, within a couple of minutes, you can come in and really do a lot of different things. And again, you can just save this as a PDF. You just come in here and click on Save As. And I want to save this to my desktop. You come down here, make sure that you select PDF, and I can save this as a legit PDF. So I can send this off to my print company, or if I want to print this in house, I can do that as well. You know, the things that you can do with this app are awesome, because it's almost like a combination of, I can't say it's a combination of Photoshop, but it's more or less like a graphic design slash print press tool in many ways. And you can do a lot of different things: logos, flyers, business cards. I create all the marketing collateral for our company, Market Street Wealth Management, all the flyers and stuff that we do. Let's see, newsletters. You can lay out newsletters. There's so much that you can do, and it really is not that difficult. I know that the controls look very intimidating at first, but it's really not that hard. I mean, once you spend some time in here, a couple days in here, you know, that's really all you need to do is learn how to create a PDF, a logo, anything. You can buy vector images, vector graphics. You can upload photographs in here. I mean, there's so much you can do very easily. So let me see if there's anything else I can cover. Oh yeah, so let me show you real quick how to manipulate an image. So there's a couple different ways. Like, let's say, for example, I want to take this image and I want to give it like a pink overlay. So this is something that you could do in Photoshop pretty easily as well. But because I sort of like to be a minimalist when it comes to all the apps and stuff that I use, I'm going to show you real quick, a quick and dirty way how you can do this in Illustrator. So I'm just going to take this image and I want to create a pink overlay. So I'm going to literally create a box on top of this image, right? And change the color to a pink color. So there's the pink color. I'm going to actually take this block, or this pink block, and move it behind the image, right? So remember how I showed you how to move it behind? Come up here to Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. So now that pink box is behind the image. So how are we going to actually make this appear on top of, or have an overlay on the image? Well, there's a couple ways to do it. The easiest way to probably do it is to just select this image, come up here to opacity, and change the opacity of the image to, 50, 60, whatever you want to change it to. So within like 2 seconds, and you created an overlay on the image. And you can also, if you really wanted to, you can do the reverse of this, which is to put this pink box on top of the logo, or excuse me, on top of the image, and just change the opacity of the pink box. That would work as well. And I can now come in here and create a text box and say, let me think here. Let me blow this up to something that we can read here. I'm going to put, this is, I'm drawing a blank here. Westchester's best insurance agent. And you can kind of play with this until you get the right look you're going for. But I can use this image for a number of different things. I can create a Facebook banner for this. You can do all kinds of stuff. So very easy to sort of manipulate images. Again, you can just drag and drop to resize an image. You want to also make sure that you're holding the shift key so that it keeps the correct dimension of the image. I'm running out of ideas here, so let me go over to the question box real quick and see if anybody is asking me some questions, and I can share my screen with you again as well. So let me see. Let me pop open Facebook, because I feel like maybe people are not don't know how to ask me questions on here. Trying to think here. Let me see if I have any credits left on this page real quick. Do I? No, I don't. Okay. Sorry, this is somewhat unorganized at the moment. Any other questions? Let me type in the chat box to see. See this. Does anybody see that chat box that I just opened up on the side? All right, hold on. I think I'm getting some hits here. Hold on a second. No, maybe not. What else? Do you want me to show you? I'll show you some website stuff. Let me share my screen with you one more time. All right, so let's say I want to create a web layout. So let me just show you a couple layouts that I already have created. So this is actually a custom theme that I'm in the process of building right now for WordPress. This is going to be featured on a couple different member sites and IAOA, but a lot of designers might actually create website layouts in Photoshop. But for the very same reasons that I sort of went through earlier, the fact that you can just drag stuff and move stuff very easily on the screen, I actually prefer to lay out website designs in Illustrator. And that's how I typically do a lot of my web development. I'm not sure, you guys may or may not know that I have like a company or a startup on the side. It's not yet launched yet. But part of what we're going to offer is like websites designed specifically for insurance agencies and financial advisors. And so I'm like the main developer for those, or designer. And so this is a design that I put together in Illustrator that's actually going to be used on a live website for Joshua Lipstone. So you're actually getting like a sneak peek at his new website design. This is going to be live probably within the next couple of weeks. And I just love the ability to be able to come in here and drag and drop stuff around the screen. And it's so easy to just come in and create a layout. I mean, it's a matter of minutes. Like I said before, it's really only boxes and text. So it's not really, anything too difficult. Same thing with the image that I made here. Remember how I just showed you that sort of image hack where I put a dark box behind the image? Same thing that I'm using right now for this hero image right here. So very, very simple to lay out a website. Let me see if I can show you another design. This is another one that I'm working on that's not quite done. Actually, this has not even been developed yet, but some pretty cool stuff that I have in the works for from a little startup. Some of which I'll be sharing with you guys, the IAOA group, over the next couple of weeks. But there's so much you can do in Illustrator, and my advice to you as an agency owner would be, this is not to slight any of the other Adobe products, and certainly not to slight, Nicholas Ayers did a great job with Photoshop. I think as an agency owner, if you had to pick like one single app that you would use probably on a daily basis or multiple times per month or whatever, it would definitely be Illustrator, because like I said, it's very simple to use once you get past the interface here. I know the interface is very at first sight can be very hard to look at, but you can use it for so many different things. And as far as like just value for your money, you're probably going to get the most bang for your buck from Illustrator. Now, if you do need an application to like alter images, like what you would do in Photoshop, there's so many different apps that you can use that are not quite as scary as Adobe products. Like, for example, PicMonkey. I'm not sure if you've ever messed with PicMonkey before. I can't remember honestly if Nicholas actually already went through this or not, but my advice would be to let me grab an image real quick and show you. All right, so I'm going to take this image of me when I was in Hawaii, pull it into PicMonkey, and you can do a lot of different stuff in PicMonkey that you can do in Photoshop as far as cropping an image or changing the color or whatever you want to do. So if I want to come in here and crop this, I can just click on the crop tool, come down here, blah, blah, blah. You kind of get the point. And then go through a bunch of different things. If I wanted to, change like add a filter to the image, I can do all that stuff. So my advice would be to, try Illustrator as your primary app. And if you need help doing stuff with images, maybe use a simpler application for that. Again, Photoshop is a very robust application, but to the beginner, to the novice user, it can be very intimidating. And people like myself and Nicholas who have experience with these apps, we probably make it look easier than really it might be. But still, you have policies to sell and you have other things to do besides spending 3 hours trying to figure out some of these apps. But if you're going to spend time to figure out an app and really master one of them, my personal preference would be Illustrator. I think through Adobe, you can actually get this app for $20. I think it's $19.99 per month, maybe, through Adobe. And again, it's well worth the money if you think you might have a need for something like this, as opposed to hiring like a graphic designer every time you need to get a flyer made, or if you want to tweak something on a flyer, or you want to change a logo out, or you want to change the name out, or you want to create a flyer specific to like a loan officer or a realtor or whatever. And every time you need to make a tweak, you can just hop in Illustrator and bang it out in a matter of seconds, instead of having to go back and forth with an agency or something like that. Now, that being said, I don't want to devalue graphic designers, because there's certainly a lot they can do that the average person can't do. But for simple stuff like flyers and business cards and letterhead and stuff like that, in my opinion, you really can't beat the value that you get from Illustrator. So with that being said, I think we're about 45 minutes into this, and I know you guys have work to do. I'm not sure, honestly, what all else I should cover here. Let me shut the screen share off real quick and hop back into the Hangout. Looks like we still have 12 people on the line. Any other questions? Let me open up Q&A real quick. Wow, no question. Okay, hold on. Looks like there is some questions. Will there be startup pricing? PicMonkey is awesome. Startup pricing. Can you make multiple page layouts using Illustrator? Oh, yes, yes. Let me select yours. Where the heck? Okay, so Lee asked if you can make multiple page layouts using Illustrator, like for a newsletter, and that's absolutely possible. It's very easy to do that. You would just simply create a brand new document with multiple artboards in it, and then when you save the document, it would save out as a like multi-page PDF. So I can show you real quick what that looks like. If you create a brand new document and you come in here, and you can see that right now we have one artboard created. If I wanted to make multiple artboards for a multi-page document, I would come in here and just create a separate artboard by increasing the number here, clicking on OK. And I now have 4 different 8.5 by 11 artboards, so I can lay this out however I want to lay it out. I hope that answers your question, Lee. Let me know if you have any other issues with that. Will PicMonkey make me thinner? Actually, PicMonkey does make you thinner. I'm not even joking. Let me show you real quick. So PicMonkey will make you thinner. Let me pull in an image real quick. All right, so here's an image of me. And if I wanted to make myself look thinner, I can come in here to this effects wand right here, come down all the way to the very bottom. Actually, I'm sorry, it's in this lipstick menu. Come all the way down to the very bottom and go to weight loss, and you could literally change the width of this image. So if I wanted to look like super husky, I could just go all the way to the left. If I wanted to look slim, I can come down. It's kind of like a workaround. It really doesn't make you look that much skinnier, but yeah. So it's funny that you asked that question, Denise. You actually can make yourself look slightly skinnier in PicMonkey. Let me see, what other questions do we have here? To your new, will there be startup pricing to the new company? Yes, there will be a IAOA discount. The company is called Advisor Evolved, and I'll have more information on that within the coming days or week or so. I'm actually having some conversations with Dave Jackson about some of the discounts. So we're going to hook you guys up pretty good. And I'm going to be sharing like a little walkthrough video of the platform that will give you a better walkthrough. Oh, my bad. She told me to share my screen. Sorry. Let me share my screen, Denise. Yeah, there will be a startup plan or like a discounted plan for my company here. So let me open up that image one more time, Denise. And I can go into this lipstick thing right here, go all the way to the bottom to weight loss right here, and go all the way down to like 50%. And that kind of like shrinks the image, like it makes it look a little narrower. It's not like actually making me look that much skinnier, but I guess if you were going to be like on like match.com or something like that, and you wanted to like really look, super legit for your audience or whatever, you can come in here and do that. You can also do a bunch of other cool stuff. You can brighten your eyes. So let me go into eye brighten. I can come in here and like do all kinds of nutty stuff. You might not even be able to see this, but I'm clicking on the whites of my eyes right now and making them look whiter. So there's like all kinds of crazy stuff you can do on PicMonkey, but by far PicMonkey is my favorite photo editing app. It's so easy to use. It's browser based. You don't need to download any other apps. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, is there any other questions? Will there be startup pricing? Yes. New company. Share screen. Excuse me as I go by PicMonkey. PicMonkey is awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps this thing up. So I showed you how to make a logo. I showed you how to make letterhead. I showed you how to do a flyer, lay out a website, how to save this stuff to an image file. I showed you how to manipulate different images. And I think that's probably about it. So with that, I'm going to sign off and let you guys get back to work. And I need to get back to work as well. And this video will be on the IAOA YouTube channel probably within the next like half an hour, 45 minutes. So for those of you who have missed this, you can catch it again on the YouTube channel. And if you guys have any questions about anything I went over today, shoot me an inbox on Facebook, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. So with that, I'm out. Toodles, yo.